Hi, and welcome again to this latest episode of La Plata Ward 4 Update podcast and video. This is Dave Jenkins, Town Council member from Ward 4. So this would be close to one of my last podcasts under this particular name, and I'll get to that later on in this video and podcast. But I wanted to follow up from our April 22nd, 2025 Town Council meeting, where we reviewed the capital budget, the FY 26 capital budget. And again, the opinions expressed here are mine and mine alone. They don't reflect the town or the staff. So I believe this is the fourth in a series of podcasts about the budget process. And I hope to follow up very quickly or very shortly with my observations and critique about the budget process during this fiscal year. In preparing the fiscal year 2026 budget, and I hope to then forward that to the new council and the new town manager, and I hope they would consider it under advisement. So again, this is information or my reviews and what happened at our April 22nd, 2025 town council meeting, which was the last meeting under the current council. As you may know or should know, the town election is May 6th, Tuesday, from 7 to 8 p.m. at the town hall. So let's go to this next slide, and this is just showing you the remaining calendar of events for approval and adoption and public hearings for the budget. So again, the new council will be sworn in May 12th. So their first meeting will be May 13th, and they'll have a public hearing to receive comment about the 2026 fee schedule. The public hearing comment on the budget, they call it financial budget, but that's the operating budget. And then there'll be introduction, just for introduction only, the legislation to adopt the fee schedule and the budget. And then there will be information or adoption of the tax rates. Under the current budget, as the current council has proposed, there is no tax increase or none anticipated. But again, this budget process, because it's been somewhat different, it's up now to the new council to adopt the budget as we've worked on since February. I have something to say about that later. And then finally, on May 27th at the town council meeting, the new council meeting, they will then go forth and again have a discussion and a vote to either adopt or reject the 2026 fee schedule and then the financial plan. So now I'm just going to briefly go forward, and hopefully you can see this, but I'll give you I'll provide a link to this agenda item, which is a discussion of the capital budget. And I'll also provide a link to the YouTube video of the town meeting. As of today, which is May the 1st, they have not uploaded the video of that April 22nd meeting. But I'll put that in the notes once I get that information. So this is just this slide just kind of gives you an overview of the capital fund budget, proposed budget by general fund, sanitation, which is trash and recycling, the sewer, water, and stormwater management. Those are our enterprise funds. And then they have some highlights in terms of buildings and facilities. And I would just comment about a couple of these so you understand and again, these are my opinions and my views. So under this buildings and facilities, there's again initiation of planning and construction for the Dorchester Community Center beginning in 2026. While I don't argue this is perhaps a worthwhile project, it has been in our capital budget as long as I've been on the council, since 2021. And for 2.5 years, I've asked for and have not received any information or clarification or what they're doing in terms of state funds, because they got some state grants as well as some previous town money. So I don't have any visibility or transparency of what they've done, or there's been no reports or milestones or annual reports that I'm aware of, and I've asked for that information. So I again, and you'll see on the tape, I still object to having this in the budget, very frankly, until I believe we need to get some kind of a transparency on what's going on with that nonprofit organization. And again, this is not to suggest it's not a worthwhile project, but I believe that we should have some kind of we should have financial transparency if they want to if there's an expectation that they're going to receive town funds, capital funds. And again, you can see here, this would be contingent of receiving $1.25 million of grant funding. I believe that's from the state. The next item here, which I'm highlighting, is study and design phase for a new police station. We've been working on that for a number of years, so I believe it's worthwhile because the current station, which is the old post office, they've grown out of that, so they need more room, frankly, and more accessibility, ease and out of getting into the facility. And again, that's contingent from additional grant funding, but we wanted to set some money aside. And then finally, this last bullet under project highlights, it talks about a land use study encompassing town hall area and public works facilities. And you'll see in the video my questions about that. Let me get to the kind of the easy one. The public works facilities, we have a current facility that's adjacent to 301 and adjacent to Steeplechase. That's somewhat of a constricted site. So we want to be able to look at some other opportunities because the town did buy some land 2 years ago that may be a better location for that. So we just want to have some better analysis if that would be feasible and would it work at that particular site. This is a piece of property. It's about 20 acres and it's opposite Glen Auburn Road off of 301 where the median break is on US 301. The land use study about town hall, I wasn't fully aware of that. So you'll see I did ask some questions, and apparently there is some concern by the council or staff and or both about growing out of the town hall and perhaps some way to look at or do a study to see if there's a need for any increase in the parking area of the town hall. I am, and this is again my opinion, I am vehemently opposed to that. There could be a study to look at adding parking to the left side of the town hall as you look at it. On the left side was currently a green open space area. We have a lot of exhibits and we do a lot of town functions there, outdoor functions there. I'm just adamantly opposed to that. I don't think we need more parking. We certainly don't need more impervious surface or parking areas in the town. But again, this is all going to be contingent on the next council and their views and their feelings about that. The next over here on the slide, you'll see there's a transportation improvement. Again, street paving. Again, that's mostly state funded, what they call highway user revenue. This, you probably can't read it, but I'll look at it. It's called Traffic and Safety Study Improvements. The town received a federal grant to look at safety and community speeding programs within the town. Again, that's a federal grant, and so hopefully we will be able to leverage that money. And again, hopefully then there's some money for sidewalk improvements. I wish there was more, but there's not. So hopefully we can look at that. The new council can look at that as well. This next slide, again, it's just a breakdown of the projects. I've already talked about Dorchester, which is here, the new police station building, the land use study. Under parks and other sites, again, there's some opportunity to improve Wills Park, again, with some grant money. The playground, I know there's some federal rescue plan funds that were allocated, so we'll see if we can do that. Same as the amphitheater that was proposed for Wills Park. And then finally, down below here, this last one's called Radio Station Road Park Bikeway. That's a project that was started almost 4 years ago. Thanks to our transportation consulting firm, Mead Hump. They secured a number of grants for both planning and engineering, and now we're hopefully in the stage where we're receiving or will receive construction funds for this project. I think it's a worthwhile project that will connect the sidewalk area at the intersection of US 301 and Dorchester, go along the north side of Charles Street along Hickory Ridge, go all the way up to 488, frontage along 488, and then connect into Radio Station Road, and then go up Radio Station Road and connect to the existing bikeway sidewalk area along St. Charles Parkway and Roswick Road. That'll give you almost a full opportunity to take your bike from downtown La Plata to Waldorf. So I think it's a worthwhile project, but we have leveraged state funds for that as well. This next slide, again, transportation improvements. I talked about that earlier. Particularly important for me is this neighborhood traffic calming program. Again, you can see there's a U.S. federal grant for $110,000 and an additional funding from the town. And these projects certainly point to the need, as was recommended by the Finance Committee, and I believe it's in the draft operating budget, that we need to hire a project manager so he or she can get these projects off the ground and implement it. We haven't done that in the past, so hopefully we'll be able to do that. There is one final transportation issue or project called Southwest Access Management and Safety Improvements. Again, that's subject to a federal grant as well. That's to provide better access in and around the existing community of Steeplechase. As you probably know, that's adjacent to 301, and currently there's only one way in and one way out to that major residential subdivision. So this is a study to look at other ways for interconnection and other access point. Immediately to the south of Steeplechase is a proposed subdivision called Stagecoach, which was approved several years ago, but they have not had any construction. But there's a road connection from Steeplechase to Stagecoach, which will then go out to Stagecoach Road and 301. So we're just looking at a way to provide better overall access for that part of the town. So it would involve working with the state, the county, and the developers and property owners. So hopefully that will continue under the new council. Again, water and sewer. I'll provide a link to this for you as well, but I'm not going to go through every single one. But these are needed improvements in terms of pump stations and other assets that would upgrade our existing water and sewer infrastructure. This is also true for stormwater management. That's again a state requirement. We have to maintain a state permit, and we have to show progress every year. So these are projects that will help fulfill that permit requirement and improvements by the state of Maryland. Again, just considering, you can see there's a considerable number of stormwater management projects, and again, I'll give you a link to this as well. And then I just wanted to again remind everybody as we close out this quick video and podcast. Again, the town election is May 6th, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And again, here's the candidate list by alphabet, by ward. So hopefully, because I'm planning on voting, and in fact, I'm going to be voting early because I got to do some other things. But so hopefully, you'll get a chance to get out and vote. And again, this, as I said before, and it's probably repetitive, but it's worth saying, this is your chance to really vote for your choice or who you want to lead the town in the next 4 years. So I hope you get out and be able to do that. Again, I'm going to be switching over shortly, within a couple of weeks. The name of my podcast and my Facebook page is currently La Plata Ward 4 Update on my podcast video, as well as my Facebook page. I'm going to be transitioning to crosswalks, and I know I talked about that a little earlier, but I just want to remind you that I'm going to be transitioning with that in the next couple of weeks. So I'm working on the content. I'm working on what they call podcast video art or cover, and this is one option that I'm looking at. I'm certainly not an artist, but I've been looking at other sites and consulting other podcasts, as well as the one that hosts my podcast for ideas. So this is one. But the tagline will be Crosswalks, Exploring the Crossroads of Growth, Impact, and Community. And then here's the next one, which frankly I might like this one. But again, I'm adjusting, but I just wanted to kind of give you a heads up. So I'm going to continue to provide this kind of content about planning and development, economic development, and how it affects us not only here in La Plata, but in the county and frankly even Southern Maryland. And I may, again, do some expansion of additional information. And then I'm going to hopefully experiment with doing interviews with folks, subject matter experts that would provide, again, information. And again, it's just to provide information so you hopefully understand what's happening in the town, the county, in the region. I know during the campaign right now there's been a lot of concern and questions, and rightly so, about growth and development in the town and the county. So I want to continue this as a separate and new site called Crosswalks, and I want to provide maybe additional information. So again, I do appreciate your time in listening and watching my videos. Hopefully they've been informative for you, and I got about 12 days left in my term, because the new council, after the election May 6th, the new council will be sworn in on Monday, May the 12th at 6 p.m. And then they have their first town council meeting on May the 13th at 6 p.m. So so I'm slowly ending my term. So I'll just give you my email, my current town email before I leave office, and that's djenkins@townoflaplata.org. And again, I appreciate you listening and talking about and listening about to my podcasts and videos. I will also shortly, I may have mentioned it earlier, I'm going to take some time and review how our budget review was done or not done this year, and again for FY26. I want to go back and rethink and have some observations and comments that hopefully the new council and the new town manager will also consider. And just again, a reminder, our new town manager starts on June the 16th. He's coming from La Plata County, Colorado. I think he's a good choice. Obviously, you'll be the judge of that as well. But he was actually here in town for La Plata Day last Saturday. So I had a chance to, again, meet with him very briefly. So that process started a while ago. We had 53 applicants. We narrowed it down to 10 folks, the council in closed session. We then narrowed it down to 5 that we wanted to bring back for 2 rounds of interviews. One out of the 5, unfortunately, one took another job and the other one dropped out. So we ended up interviewing 3 candidates online separately on Zoom meetings. We then met again and decided to bring all 3 back for in-person interviews. We did that in late. So we made that in late March, and then we met with them, like I said, in late March, and it was a great process. Frankly, they were all very, very good candidates, very articulate, and so we're pleased with. We offered the contract, and it's been accepted. So he's hopefully will be here. Well, he will be here June 16th. So again, thanks for listening and watching. Stay well and be safe. Thank you.